Our guest today serves as Senior Vice President of Comcast's Greater Chicago region. He is responsible for the direction and management of over 4,500 employees in the Chicago metropolitan area and portions of Northwest Indiana and Michigan. Under his leadership, this region is completing a $400 million upgrade of its broadband network. Crane Chicago Business recently named our guest today in its Who's Who in Technology and Telecom. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the City Club of Chicago, Joe Stackhouse. Joe, thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Good afternoon. Thanks for all of you coming today, especially those of you who are on my staff who I made come today so that we filled all the chairs. I really do appreciate that. They've heard this before, and they're still going to be here, so hopefully that bodes well for all of you. Jay, I want to thank you. I want to thank all the City Club board and staff and members for allowing us to be here today and allowing me to be here today. I'd also like to recognize Norma Reyes and Jim McVeigh, who are here from the City of Chicago. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. Today, there's lots to talk about when it comes to Comcast and it comes to this part of the telecom world. And so today, I'm going to try to give you a flavor for things that Comcast is doing, a little bit about Comcast and the people who are here, talk about what the future looks like, but most importantly, I want to take your questions. These things usually work better when you don't have to listen to me, but I get to hear what you want on your minds. So I'll give you a little bit of a flavor today, and then you can ask me questions. And at the end, there's a microphone in the middle, and you can come up, and I'll be happy to take your questions. Comcast is a newcomer to the city of Chicago. They were here briefly in a transition between two companies, but really 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, is when Comcast burst on the scene. Comcast was co-founded in 1963 by a gentleman named Ralph Roberts. And it's a great American business story. Mr. Roberts, before he was in cable, was in men's apparel, specifically belts and suspenders. Now, how do you get from belts and suspenders to cable? I'll tell you. He saw a trend taking place in men's apparel that troubled him deeply: elastic waistbands. He decided that there was no future for belts and suspenders with the elastic waistband taking place, and he decided to get into cable television, and so bought his first cable system in Tupelo, Mississippi in 1963, a system that we still own and operate today. And so Comcast has grown from that one system in Tupelo, Mississippi to the largest cable company in the United States, a true American success story. And Mr. Roberts still is involved today at 84 years old in the day-to-day operations. And he's a great guy. He still comes. He's been to Chicago several times. I've gotten to meet him. Our employees get to meet him. He is really the heart and soul of our organization. And you'll see today, one of the things that's really important to us is being involved in the community and really being a part of a family. And Mr. Roberts leads that organization very well. Our organization here in Chicago is local. We have over 4,700. Jay said 45. We've added 200 additional people. Since Comcast has taken over, we've added 500 customer service professionals to our organization just in the last 2.5 years. Comcast is local. All 4,700 of those people live here, they work here, they do business in their communities, and most importantly, they're involved in their communities. We do a thing called Comcast Cares Day in October, and we've done 2 of these since we've been Comcast, where we've had over 4,000 volunteers who go and clean up parks, help elderly people paint their houses, clean up yards, help people in Association House. We've done a lot, and that's something that's really important to the organization. But what I want you to know is that we're local. There are 4,700 of us strong who are here living and working in this community every single day, and they take pride in that because they are here, and they want to do a great job. When Comcast took over AT&T 2 years ago, they sat me down and said, there are 2 things you got to do. 1, you got to improve the operation. And 2, you got to complete the upgrade of your network. Improving our operation, for those of you who've had cable television before, especially in Chicago, you know our customer service hasn't been the greatest. We just have not done a great job. The industry hasn't done a great job, but Comcast is committed to that. We have a program called Think Customer First, where we spend an enormous amount of time working on process and working on our employees and giving them training so that they can provide the type of service our customers need, because we recognize in this incredibly competitive environment that one of our key differentiators is going to be providing great service. And so we've made lots of progress since we took over. We're not where we want to be, but we've made tons of progress. And that's exciting for us and exciting for the folks who are here today. The second thing we had to do was to build the network. And so we took on a very aggressive program where we built over 20,000 miles of plant in less than 18 months. Built thousands and thousands of miles of fiber, and spent millions and millions of dollars to build a state-of-the-art, two-way, digital-capable, IP-capable network to serve the Chicagoland area. And so we started when we came in here with a one-way network that really just did analog pictures, some digital. To today, we have a state-of-the-art network that serves the entire Chicagoland area. As a result of this upgrade, we like to say that Chicago is no longer the second city when it comes to technology, it's first. Residents of the Chicago area all have access to digital video, over 200 channels of digital video. And along with that, over 16 high-definition channels, video on demand and digital video recorders are all available throughout the entire market. All Chicagoland residents also have access to high-speed internet, something that wasn't possible 2 years ago. And soon, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, all of the residents of Chicago will have access to our voice over internet protocol service called Comcast Digital Voice. We'll be rolling that out over the next several months. So what does all that mean? Well, what it really means is the long-awaited convergence of capabilities of TV, personal computer, internet, and telephone are finally here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about those. So in the 2 years since Comcast, 18 months to 2 years Comcast has been here, we've done a lot. And the speed of change is incredibly rapid. We completed the upgrade, as I told you, that gave everyone access to digital video and high-speed data. But we launched high-definition service. How many of you have seen a high-definition picture or watched TV in high definition? I'll tell you, once you watch it, you'll never want to watch anything else. It's literally like looking out the window and seeing a picture. And we started with only 14 channels, and we're up to 16, and we believe over time there'll be 50 to 60 high-definition channels available to our customers in the Chicago region. We also introduced dual tuner DVRs. Dual tuner DVR, do you know what that is? That's like a TiVo service, but it's ours. You can record one channel and watch another. You can store programs so that you can watch them later. It allows people to time shift. And for Joe and Larry, you can't skip through the commercials, so you got to be able to watch those. So that's good for you too, Joe. You're very, yeah. We're trying to help you out, Joe. You're welcome. Also in the 18 months, we've enhanced our high-speed data service. Not only have we launched it, but we started with a 1.5 megabit product. We're now up to a 6 megabit product with 768 kilobits upstream just in the last 18 months. Now that's fast. If you haven't seen it, that's really fast. And we've done all that without raising the rates on those products. We've also added features like video email. We've changed the web portal. And we've added a music experience on that. One of the number one things people do when they go on the internet is download music. And we've added that to our portal, all at no additional cost to our customers, just in the last 18 months. We've launched, and probably our flagship product is video on demand. And we launched that at the end of last year, and we've completed launching that at this point. Video on demand provides you 3,000 hours of stored product that with the push of a button, you can access at any time. You can pause it, you can fast forward it, you can rewind it. With innovative services, on Valentine's Day, we launched Dating on Demand. One of the greatest services of all time. It's revolutionized TV. When you have our service, I would say to you, especially if you're married, go home, turn that on Friday night, and thank your wife that she agreed to marry you, because you could actually be on Dating on Demand where the entire Chicagoland area could watch you But what's great about it is for people who want to meet others, you get a chance to sample that and watch that. We've done things with the Bears where we loaded local Bears content on there so people could get it. We're working with local programmers, with broadcasters to try to put other local programming on there. It's really an exciting service. And just to give you how exciting it is, when we launched it in December, less than 1 million times did someone push the remote to get the service. Last month, over 15 million times, people pushed their remote to get that service. And we haven't done a lot of advertising until the last month or so. So people love the service. They use it, and they use it a lot. And our advertising sales organization, that's something that I'm going to talk just briefly about, but our advertising sales organization has also done some pretty exciting things. Ad tag, ad copy is a technology that allows our customers, our advertisers, to either place one buy and tag it in each local location so that you can be running a car commercial across the entire marketplace, and you can put the local dealer on that spot, so you only have to place one buy. Or we can place a buy across the whole market, and we can have a different spot for every one of those local locations. That's something that we did for our advertisers. It's really exciting, and the folks in their advertising group are really excited about it. And the final thing that we've done that's really big, I think, is we launched Comcast Sportsnet. We partnered with the local sports teams and came up with a joint venture that allowed us to televise the Bulls, the Cubs, the White Sox, and the Blackhawks. And we launched that. And that's exciting because we know that it's really important to local customers to have local sports. And that's been a tremendous success. And thank goodness the Bulls had a tremendous season, and that really helped a lot. And it was exciting. So it was great to have all that. So with that being launched, what does that mean for you as the consumer? Well, I want to tell you about a story of what it's going to be like for you in the very near future as a customer. And this little device right here is all you're going to need, the remote control. So this is really going to be a prominent device, so you can't lose it like I do at my house, and I can never find the thing because this is really going to be critical, okay? You can get up and look at this later if you want, if you haven't seen it. It's really exciting. But picture this. It's opening day in the Bears football season this coming fall. And you've decided to go to the store to get some snacks and beverages so that you can more thoroughly enjoy the game. While you're at the store picking up those beverages and snacks, you get a call on your local, on your telecommunications device, your PDA, or your cell phone. It's your wife. She says, honey, I know you're at the store. I need you to pick some things up. Sweetheart, no problem. I'm ready to go. I pick that up for her. I come home, and I take this little device, and I put it in a docking station in my house, and it now becomes my home phone number as well. And I use my local network as opposed to my wireless network, all from one provider. So, put that away, I get the snacks out, I sit down on my couch in front of my TV, and I have a 75-inch plasma TV. Oh, it's awesome. I don't have it, but I'm just dreaming, okay? 75-inch plasma TV with a dual tuner DVR on it, high def. Turn the game on. But the White Sox have made a run, and they're still in it, so I can record the White Sox game at the same time I'm watching the Bears game. So I set all that up so I don't miss the White Sox game, got to watch that, and I'm watching the Bears game. I also grab my laptop and use my wireless internet network because I'm a fantasy football player and I want to make sure I watch what my team does. So now I'm sitting on the couch, got my drinks, I'm watching, I got both games going, I got my laptop, life is good. 10 minutes into the game, the phone rings. In the corner of the screen, caller ID pops up. It's my mother-in-law. I love my mother-in-law, but it's the Bears. It's opening day. I'm not watching it. So with the push of a button on your remote, I send my mother-in-law to voicemail. Now, I don't want, people come up to me when I tell a story and go, you don't love your mother? I love my mother-in-law. I just didn't want to talk to her at that moment. And that's what's great. I can push her to voicemail. She gets a great message. She doesn't even know that I'm home. I haven't missed a thing of the game. 10 minutes later, the phone rings again. Caller ID pops up. It's my son in college. So why do college students call on Sunday afternoon? Exactly. So I push a button on the remote that pauses the game, flip over, and there's my son's smiling face. Dad, how you doing? Great, son. How are you? Things are great. Hey, Dad, I need a little bit of money. Son, no problem. I reach over, grab my laptop, access my banking account, put it in his account, Son, it's already done. Dad, you're the greatest. Thank you, son. I really appreciate it. Dad, got to go do laundry. Yeah, right. Sure, you have to do laundry. So I say, great. I click the button. He goes away, and I start the game right where I left off. So I watch the game. Halftime comes around. I'm uninterrupted again because I've gone in and I've put a do not disturb message on so I don't get any more phone calls. And halftime comes along, and I'm feeling a little guilty about my mother-in-law. I decide that I probably ought to listen to that voicemail and make sure that it's not something important. So I go to my email, and I can pull up that WAV file and listen to my mother-in-law's email or voicemail on my email. See, it gets really confusing. It's all convergence. I listen to it. She says, she just wants to talk to my wife. So I take that and I forward that message to my wife's handheld device. Sweetheart, you need to call your mom. No problem. I watch the end of the game. No one else bothers me. The Bears win. 30 minutes later, that game's on a VOD server. And I can watch that game over and over again, pausing, fast forwarding, rewinding all of the great plays. I haven't even left my couch. Now, all that's going to be available either right now or in the very near future. And that appeals to me, but we have a broad audience. And we have to make it relevant and appealing to all of our constituents. How many of you have teenagers? Convergence is never more apparent than the scene I walked in on with my oldest son about 3 weeks ago. I walk into the study. He's sitting there with his feet up on the desk. He's got the TV on. He's got the laptop in his hand. He's got 5 instant messaging sessions going on with his friends. He's got an earpiece in, and he's listening to Rhapsody, so he's listening to music, and he's surfing the web. I said, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? Homework. He was telling me the truth. He was doing his homework. But, you got to stay in touch with your friends. Got to make sure the scores on the game are, and I can listen to music while I do that. That's really what convergence is. And that's exciting. And that's one of the things that really gets me going. And that's one of the things that our network that we have built will allow us to do. It'll be relevant to people like us. It'll be relevant to our kids, who are going to be the next generation of consumers. And it's a scalable network that allow us to do whatever comes along as we go forward. We've made that investment, and we're allowed to be able to do those things. So things we haven't even thought of today will be available in the next 2 years. Our network's going to be able to deliver those to our customers. And we recognize that innovating our products and speed to market are absolutely critical. And we've designed an organization that allow us to really leverage that. So, with that being said, what do the next 18 months look like? Because that's been a lot. The next 18 months are just as exciting. Now, for those of my staff, don't faint, because there's a lot coming up, and you have a lot to do. But we're comfortable doing it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to convert our entire lineup to digital. That'll give us better picture quality. It'll also give us additional bandwidth so that we can put those 50 or 60 high-def channels on without any incremental cost. One of the most exciting products that's come along in a long time, we're going to launch our Comcast Digital Voice. Our phone answer. So we can offer what's called the triple play, voice, video, and data into the customer's home. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking that our digital voice product is anything like any of the other IP-based phone providers. It's going to have quality of service. It's going to have E911. It's going to have everything that you're accustomed to today and more, because it's going to be across our managed network. And our employees here in Chicago, we're going to make sure we take care of that product, launch that product, and give you the type of service that you've come to expect. We're also going to continue to innovate and deploy and develop our VOD service. We're going to go from 3,000 hours to 5,000 hours to 10,000 hours on our VOD service. We just signed a deal with, how many of you have heard of Jake, the fitness guy? We just signed a deal with him. You're going to be able to get in shape with your remote, never leaving your home. I don't know if watching Jake gets you in shape or you have to do what he says, but Jake's going to be on there. And other innovative features, ethnic programming, other types of things that are very specific that you can tune in. Today you can get guitar lessons, or you can watch The Sopranos. We have a wide variety. One of our music videos is probably the #1 thing people watch today, and they watch it over and over again. My kids love Boomerang. It's the old cartoons. They watch it all. They can't get enough. They want to know why there's only 10 shows of SpongeBob on. Dad, what are you doing about this? Dad, I've watched these 10 shows of SpongeBob. I want more. They're eating it up. And if you haven't heard about video on demand, ask your kids. They have. I just did a speech at a career day at my sons and daughters' middle school. And I had talked to neighbors and friends, and they hadn't heard about it. But every single kid, whether they had our service or not, knew about video on demand. They love it. It's a great service. So we're going to continue to innovate that. We're also going to move into the business-to-business space. We're going to continue to enhance what we offer today on the video side for business-to-business, but we're going to accelerate our high-speed data offering, and we're going to offer our phone service to business as well. And that's a new experience for us, but that's something that that's coming down the pike in the next 18 months. It's really going to be exciting. And finally, our advertising sales group is going to continue to enhance ad tag, ad copy, and do other innovative and exciting things that will allow you to get a commercial sent to you specific to your needs. So at my house, where I have 4 kids, I won't get a 2-seater car showing up on my commercial. I'll get an SUV or a bus, depending on, given the number of kids that I have. Those are the kind of things we're going to do. I'll be able to watch a video. I'll be able to watch a commercial, and there'll be a little icon on the bottom that says, click here for more information. I'll be able to click on it. I'll be able to get a 15-minute view of that vehicle and what local dealership will be able to offer that to me. Those are the kind of things we're going to do. We're even working with TiVo right now so that if you record something with our new TiVo service that we've just entered into a partnership, and let's say you recorded it 5 days ago, and it's a movie company that was in the advertising space, and it was a movie that's already out, and there's a new movie coming up, that we'll be able to replace that ad in your stored device so that you get relevant commercials at the same time. So all of those things are exciting, and all those things are coming in just the next 18 months. So pretty exciting stuff. So what does that mean for you? Well, I think what it means for you and what it means for us, most importantly, is something that John Chambers said, and he's the CEO of Cisco, when he was at the National Cable Television Association meeting in San Francisco. He said that we're moving in the customer space from transactions to interactions. And I think if you think about that example that I gave you, it really is an interactive conversation, relationship that we're going to have with our customers. It's no longer going to be, you pay me $1, I give you a service. There's going to be an ongoing relationship. And so we need to make sure that we're ready. But for you as a consumer, what's exciting is just sit back and enjoy the ride. We're going to give you a fun time. And you're going to be able to manage your voice, video, and data networks from this. So now, I appreciate the time, and I would be happy to take any questions that you have. All you're supposed to do is state your name. So I just was told I'd make sure I do that.
That's all I get to say?
Yeah. No, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Peter Scosi. I am a board member of CAN TV, a member of the City Club, and also a Comcast subscriber.
Thank you.
Triple threat. One, I just wanted, many in the room are familiar with CAN TV's troubles we had a few years ago with that other cable provider, which will remain unnamed. So I wanted to, but you, Comcast, actually stepped up to the plate and offered us a sort of win-win solution, if you will. One that gave us some financial liquidity and I think provided you a needed benefit as well. One, I wanted to thank you publicly for that.
Thank you.
If we could. Thank you. Secondly, though, given that sort of commitment to public access television that you've shown here in Chicago, and we certainly look forward to continuing that relationship with you, can you talk in general at all about your relationship with public access around the country, how public access sort of fits into the new Comcast that you've just told us about?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
That's
you.
great. Thanks. Having local programming that's relevant to our customers is absolutely critical. It's one of the things that differentiates us from our competitors. Satellite doesn't have CAN TV. And so we really do appreciate that kind of programming that's relevant to our customers, that's local, that we can get only here. But if you use that example and take the VOD example, you can see how that could expand, where you could take programs and archive those for people to go to as well. So in addition to having a linear channel, you could also have a VOD channel that would also archive some of the best of CAN TV, if you will. So we are committed to this format. We are committed to having public access and to partnering with those folks. And we look forward to doing that in the future because it's good for our business to have that local programming. It's good for our customers. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Kathy Posner, Board of Can TV, but my question is just as a consumer.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have Comcast, and I live in a high-rise building where I know we're not going to have Comcast.
Okay.
And now I'm all upset because all the things you said were so wonderful, and you're saying how you can offer all this to the city of Chicago, but if somebody lives in a high-rise, how do they get Comcast if their building is the other person?
Start an insurrection? No, I mean, it's a complicated matter in that in the state of Illinois, there's no exclusive arrangements. So if the customers of those buildings want our service and there's enough of them, we can provide them that service.
But as a single person, I couldn't say I want Comcast.
It would be difficult for that to happen, but we can certainly serve. There's no exclusive arrangement in those buildings that would prohibit us from doing it. It would just have to make business sense, and we'd have to have enough.
It would be like $1,000 a month probably for my fee if I were the only person.
I hope not.
How much is video on demand? I mean, I've heard of it, and of course, don't
great.
have it because I'm on, one of the saved people.
If you have our digital service, any level of our digital service, video on demand for most of the products is free.
Wow.
So
Very sad for me.
if you're an so you get those cartoons that I told you about, SpongeBob. You can get all the SpongeBob you want. It doesn't cost you any more money. If you're an HBO customer, the subscription video on demand to HBO is no additional charge than your HBO subscription. We've really taken a position where we want to add value to the product for our customers. So that's why video on demand doesn't cost any more money. Now, also on video on demand, there are movies that you pay for. But how many of you have ever sat down to a pay-per-view movie, pushed the button, and 10 minutes later, the phone rang, and it was your mother-in-law or your kids, and you can't do it? Today, you just push pause, and you haven't missed anything. So there's all of those pieces, but the majority of the programming, 90% of the programming is free. And if you have other levels of service, it's complimentary. So it adds value to those customers so that they really want to do business with us. That's what we did with our high-speed data product, VOD. We're trying to continue to do that as we go forward.
Thank you. If we haven't signed with that other company yet, I'm going to beg the cable committee, please, to give Comcast.
See that gentleman who's sat right in front of you? See him afterwards. He's the guy who can help you out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Gonzalez, longtime City Club member. Double subscriber because I'm in transition between two houses.
Thank you, Mike. Bless you.
My question has to do with how you'll be interrelating with Channel 11 WTTW, particularly as it pertains to the high definition. I think they have some pretty good equipment, so I wanted to know how you're going to do that.
Yeah, we're already carrying WTTW's high def signal, and it's available in our high def suite of services. It's great programming. That's the kind of stuff people want to see. The nature stuff, the tours of the city of Chicago, those kind of things that are available on WTTW are available on us. We've also partnered with PBS, and WTTW will be a part of that, to launch a new network called Sprouts, which is a network for preschool-age children. And that's available right now on our video on demand service, so people can get programming with the Children's Television Workshop and PBS, but it will also be a digital service that will be coming in the very near future.
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Beverly Coley Morris, and I'm with Almay Publishers Representatives. My question to you: what are some of the plans that you some of your plans to enhance customer satisfaction?
Thank you. That's great. The first thing we did was hire 500 new people to help us answer the phones and to get in front of the demand that our customers have. We'd like to be at we want to answer the phones within 30 seconds, 90% of the time, and we're meeting that goal today. We want to show up at your house when you want us there, but no, if you want us there today, we'd like to show up today or tomorrow at the very latest, within 24 hours. And as we continue to enhance and expand the product offering, we need more people to do that. So we're a company that is growing. Our Think Customer First program that we have in place has everyone from my level all the way through the front line understanding each month what our customers say about us. We do surveys of our customers and ask them about their recent experience. And we use those experiences to make process and changes so that we can better serve the needs of our customers. And so it's a bit of right now like we're going around the Indianapolis Speedway at 200 miles an hour. We're driving and we're reaching out trying to change the tire. Picture that for just a second, okay? That's wild time. And that's what we're trying to do. So we're launching new products really fast, and we're trying to improve our customer service. We've made progress on both. in the last year, but we still have a long ways to go. Because what do you hear about, right? You hear about bad customer service stories with the cable company. Well, I'm here to tell you that I get 30 or 40 compliments a month in my office from people who go above and beyond. We have great people working for us who are really trying their best. And it's my job to give them the process and tools to get there and then get out of the way. And so those are just some of the things that we're doing. But it's something that's really important to us and something we talk about all the time. And there are people here who can certainly back me up on that. So thanks. Yep.
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Hopper. I'm with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Currently, right now in Illinois, the Telecommunications Act is being rewritten in the state legislature, specifically Senate Bill 1700. In light of the fact that you spoke about customer service is going to improve at Comcast, you're going to have E911, and that's great. In light of the problems that we've had with 911 so far over voice over internet protocol, is Comcast willing, it's our position, and we'd like to know, is Comcast willing to abide by service quality standards to make sure that the Illinois consumers, customers in this state, your customers, have access to a well-maintained and reliable telephone network?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And that's one of the things that does plague the VoIP industry. And that's why I wanted to spend a little bit of time when I told you about it, differentiating us. We are committed to service quality standards. We are committed to providing E911 service. We are committed to working with CALEA, which is the law enforcement arm, to provide the same level of wiretaps and voice traps and the things that we do today to help law enforcement. We're absolutely committed to doing that. And so we are ready to do those things. And we've committed to do those things publicly, and we will continue those things. But having it going across our network is really the difference. How many of you have ever been on a website and all of a sudden got kicked off for no reason whatsoever? You want to know why services that go across the internet don't work, why voice services don't work? That happens there. Our telephone service will not go across the public internet. It stays on our network the whole time. So we manage it and make sure that that call is clear and that call gets delivered and you have the service quality you have today. Yes?
Hi, I'm Michelle Cade, and I'm a Comcast customer.
Thank you.
And I have a great couch to watch programs from.
Outstanding.
My question is, will customers such as myself be able to get billed for all the services we get in all in one bill?
That's a great question. That's something that customers ask us all the time, and the answer to that is yes. When we launch our voice service later this year, all of your services will be available on one bill. And the more services you take, the more discount that you get. So if you're a multi-product customer, you will get discounts off our rates, thanking you to be those customers. And so we're still working through all those prices. So you will get one bill, and because you're a multi-product customer, we appreciate that, and you'll be getting a discount.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Napier. I'm with the IBEW Local 21, also a Comcast worker. I have a question. Comcast claims in the Comcast Credo to focus on employees. You say we will invest in the people with the belief that our company can only be as strong as its workforce. If that is true, why do you withhold some of the wages and benefits and working conditions from the portion of the workforce that have chosen to be a part of the Local 21?
The short answer to that is we haven't. We're in negotiations, as you know, and we've been bargaining in good faith to try to work through a contract. And that process takes time. It's really for the bargaining table. It's not for this discussion, but I would say the short answer is we haven't, and we've been very committed to making sure that we get a contract that's fair for both sides.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Joe Stackhouse. My name is Jerry Rankins. I'm likewise a business agent with IBEW Local 21. I'm one of the co-chairs representing the members, over 200 members in the Chicago market. In response to your the question that your employee had in terms of parity on the benefits and wages, I can say without wavering with the facts that your proposals towards these workers, that some of them haven't had wages going back to 1999, recognizing the fact that you all been here since November of 2002, it's nowhere near the parity and the benefits of the non-represented. Just even on yesterday, we reached a tentative agreement that the people you have representing you at the table made it very, very clear this was it. And those wages called out for a 2.5% increase on wages that workers haven't had increase since 1999. Give you an example.
Jerry, is there a question?
Yes. Comcast project a positive image to the majority of the public that they care. In light of, and to piggyback on what the employee just stated, why is Comcast showing the contrary in terms of wages and benefits to the workers that are represented by a labor organization?
And as I said before, I don't believe we are. As I said, we were negotiating that contract, and that discussion is best suited for the bargaining table. So, thanks, Jerry.
My name is Ellie Wilder. I'm with Management Inc., and this is on a lighter note.
Thank you.
I'm a consumer. First of all, I want to congratulate you on valuing the consumer as much as you have and hiring all of those people. But they usually are there to answer complaints. And I don't have a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old living with me to show me how to run everything. I mean, when you do, you don't know how fortunate you are. And I wonder if you've given any thought, or if you're planning to do, any training of us consumers who don't know what is going on. Because if you do, I mean, I run a company that does this, and I'm not saying this to you, it's just that I'm knowledgeable about it. If you wait until everyone is so confused and mixed up, your phones are going to go off the hook, and they still won't know what to do, because I know it happens to me. So I would like to suggest that you really make a point of doing community or in the building that you've just done or something to really teach people how to use it so they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and I can answer it a couple ways. We've thought about hiring 13-year-olds to go around. My 13-year-old who needs a summer job would actually really...
Good idea.
Yeah, but you're right. Those folks, my kids get things at home, and they're hooking things up. I have a digital camera that took me... I'm in the business. I didn't hook it up for 6 months. He had it hooked up in 6 minutes.
Exactly.
But we're going to use our VOD platform for that, is one way to do that, so that you'll be able to go to a library of self-help types of VOD, how to use our product. And so that's coming. If it's not, it's already available, and it's on on our VOD library. But we're going to continue to expand that. The other thing that we do is called product awareness events, and we have those from time to time in places where we have, for instance, our VOD provider Sea Change has a vehicle called the VOD Rod, we call it, that goes around to public places that people can get a tour and see how that works end to end. So we need to do more of those. So we're starting to do that. We're going to use our VOD service. We're also going to then use the power of our cross-channel spots to be able to tell people where they can go to get that kind of help. Because we recognize if you don't use it and you don't see how cool it is, you're not going to want to stay.
Exactly.
So we get it. We're not there yet, but there's still some of us who are trying to work through it as well. And so
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Shannon Quinn. I had a question about corporate giving and was wondering if you could describe what Comcast does locally and what kind of organizations you support here in the Chicago area.
I think that we do a lot. We do a lot in each of the areas. We're a local company. We support our employees who are involved in things. We support Gallery 37 as an example, but I think our flagship is Comcast Cares Day. It was something that was started by Ralph and Brian. That's a weekend in October that every Comcast location throughout the entire United States stops for that day, brings family and friends together, and takes on a community service project. That's the most visible day. We bring partners in. We've brought people who are our programming partners in to help us with that. That's our flagship day. And we had over 30,000 volunteers last October on a Saturday to do that. But that's just a day. That's an ongoing commitment. We have people on boards. George, who runs our city, is on the Association House Board and the Urban League. Mark Kaufman is on the United Way Board. We have others. I'm on the City Year Board. So not only do we have events like that, but we have something that's ongoing every single day of the year where our employees are involved, or we have that kind of commitment throughout the whole thing. We know that it's important to give back to the communities we do business in. And that's something that we do, and Comcast is really, the Comcast Cares Day is our flagship for that. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name's Dave Webster with IBW Local 21.
Hi, Dave.
And I think it's just great that you're working hard to make Comcast more successful. It's also good for our members. But my question is this. In your January interview with the Chicago Tribune, you outlined your dedication to the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church's position on workers' rights is that all people have the right to just wages and benefits, as well as to join unions or other associations. How do you explain the aggressive attack on workers' rights that Comcast has initiated under your leadership while touting your Catholicism?
Well, I don't think that's true. I don't believe that we have attacked workers. I believe we've been very fair and we're very committed. That's just the facts. We're not attacking any workers. We're not doing anything else. We're being very fair. We're negotiating in good faith, and we're trying to work the deal. So, yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stackhouse.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jim Bortz, and I'm also with the board of directors of CAN TV. And just as my fellow cohorts over there said, we'd like to thank you and for your professionalism and fine business practices and how you dealt with CAN TV.
Thank
We
you.
do applaud you at CAN TV. When you were giving your speech a little while ago, when you got to the part about teenagers, I want to tell you I certainly am glad you predicated that with saying that you walked into your room and your study and it was your teenagers, because I have two teenagers who, at first I thought you were talking about them. But, I guess multitasking is a wave of the future over here, and we're in the 21st century, we're in the information age, and thank God my kids could multitask because it's still a challenge for me. On the other hand of the totem pole comes from the teenagers to the senior citizens. And I know that in the area I live on, the north side of Chicago, there's a subsidized housing development called the North Park Village. And I know that I, too, am a Comcast customer. I have Comcast, not only TV, but also my internet system is with Comcast.
Thank you.
And my average bill runs about $140 a month with you. Now, with people who are in very low-income subsidized housing, okay, in places like North Park Village, that kind of bites into their check pretty hard, okay, that they're getting for the thing. What kind of programs does, if there are any, does Comcast have, to address these people who would love to have your service but just can't quite make the nut?
Yeah, we don't have anything per
Thank
se.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. We don't have anything per se for subsidized housing or those types of things. The competitive landscape continues to be the best choice for customers in that it provides people lots of options. I'm not, I wish everyone could afford our service. We're not the low-cost provider. We're just not, and we don't intend to be the low-cost provider. We intend to provide a robust product and suites of services that appeals to as broad an audience as we can get. So while we don't have anything subsidized, we have specials that run. We have levels of service that are as low as $8 or $9 a month. You can get our basic service. In the city, it's a little higher than that, but in other places where they can get just broadcast basic cable. And we're looking at ideas for high-speed internet that would be a tier of service that would give people basic access to the internet that wouldn't be the full suite of services that we have today. That's something that's still in development that we're trying to work through. It's a fair question. It's just not something that we have available today. Yes, sir.
My name is Leighton Olson. I'm an attorney, and I'm also with the Illinois Community Technology Consortium. I have two questions that focus on the affordability access area. One, as you look at the channel changer remote, does that have the ability to go into the 411, 311, 911 right there? And I guess I'm trying to understand a little bit. Can you go into that and get directory access in Charleston, South Carolina, get it and click through without paying $1.25, or the things that might lead to a certain amount of affordability in that area? The second question is the city of Chicago's plans to look at a Wi-Fi network around the city and local community planning that might happen in local areas, and the potential interaction between Wi-Fi, cable, and DSL kinds. How do you see that, and what kind of community participation do you envision in that way?
Well, those are two simple questions to answer, I'm sure. And you're the last guy, thanks. Could somebody come up and give me a layup? The first question about being able to use the remote to be able to access telephone directories and those kind of things is absolutely in the plans to be able to be a part of that. The charging of that, I'm not sure, because that's still a little ways down the road. But we're going to put a voice portal in place where customers will have more access and control over their phone service than they've ever had before. So, for instance, you'll be able to go on this webpage and see every detail as you go of every call you've made and the charges for that month. You'll also be able to use your TV as that portal into that voice portal, as well as being able to access things. The kind of Jetsons thing that I talked about, where you plop up and there's George Jetson on one end and you're on the other end, that's something that's going to be available in the next 18 months. And it's available in some forms today on the internet with our video email. We're going to go to video chat. Those kind of things will also be available. So yes, those things will be available. I'm sure they will be very affordable because we want to make sure that the total package is affordable to customers. Don't know the pricing on that yet. The second thing on the Wi-Fi. You know, we're still studying what the Wi-Fi proposal is. We haven't seen a full-fledged proposal on the Wi-Fi. And so we really don't have a position at this point. I can tell you that all of the consumers in Chicago who have in their building our service, and the people who don't have our service in their building have made other choices. But it's available to everyone in the city of Chicago and available in the Chicagoland area. Our competitors have that service out as well. It's an incredibly capital-intensive business with technology that changes very rapidly. So I believe that as we review that process with the city, we'll have to take a wait-and-see attitude, but I'm confident that the city will be looking at all of those variables and making sure that before they spend taxpayers' money, they're going to understand all of those costs. But until we see a final proposal, they really have a lot to comment on at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jay, anything else?
A round of applause. Got a gift for you here. Hold on. Joe, thank you very much.